Have you ever wondered how does it feel to be a taxi driver? Spending almost a day driving, dealing with different kinds of people, and sometimes bombarded with different scenarios that are happening along the way? Well, maybe what you think is correct. It is not that easy. But moreover, as I have said, taxi drivers need to deal with different kinds of people and situations they encounter along their way, giving them different views and perspective about the society that they drive at. Today, we will know how the world looks like on a taxi driver's perspective. And in this story, we will know how hard, how fortunate, and how intellectual a taxi driver can be. The story of a taxi driver, Catherine Lee. Singapore. Some refer to it as the Little Red Dot, but Singapore's presence today is much bigger to that nickname. Singapore City, the capital, is a bustling cosmopolitan city that offers a world-class living environment, with her landscape populated by high-rise buildings and gardens. It is also referred to as a multicultural kaleidoscope. One interesting feature you'll discover about Singapore is a ubiquitous collage of cultures, where people of different ethnicities and beliefs coexist. Many people are amazed to the beauty of Singapore and her progressiveness. Way before becoming the cosmopolitan city of today, Singapore was just a humble fishing village inhabited by an indigenous settlement. Catherine Lim Poem is a Singaporean fiction author known for writing about Singapore society and all themes of traditional Chinese culture. She is known as the Doyen of Singaporean writers. Lim has now published a total of 9 collections of short stories, 5 novels, 2 poetry collections, and numerous political commentaries. She started her career in year 1978 with her work Little Ironies, Stories of Singapore, where the story of the taxi driver was included. Characters: the taxi driver, who was the speaker on the story, the passenger or the teacher, the one whom the taxi driver was talking to, and Lei Chu, the taxi driver's daughter. Setting: place is on Singapore, main setting, inside a taxi. Scene: the taxi driver and the passenger having a conversation. Theme: the story revolved into 4 issues. First, changes in society. The story revolved how young people of Singapore have grown to be bold and reckless as compared to the youth of the old Singapore. Prostitution. The story also depicted some of the tricks and bondus of some students regarding to this wrongdoing. Parenthood. The story also implicitly have shown us the image of a good parenthood. Youth. It also revolved around the image of the youth today, what they do and what they are nowadays compared before. The story is actually a monologue of a taxi driver talking to his passenger who is a teacher. Not long after the passenger entered the cab, when they started to talk about various things. They first talk about the taxi driver's work, about how long is he in the service, whether is it hard, and why do you have to be that industrious on such work. The taxi driver said he was already 20 years in service, and added that the Singapore was not yet that busy when he started. He also added that he must work hard because he wasn't able to pursue education and in order for him to sustain his family. He explained that he has a big family because before there was no family planning yet. He talked about his 4 children, about the 3 who are employed, and 1 who is still studying. Then they started talking about children nowadays. He noted that children are now far away different than before. He said that before, their parents were very strict, to the point their punishment was to be hit several times. Now he said that the children today are not focusing so much on studies, have fun in nightclubs, drugs, and sex. He explained that children nowadays are really big problems of the parents. He pointed out the students that they have passed by as evidence. He said that they already act as big times, materialistic, smokers, the way they dress, and even their drive for sex. He said that they were once or several times became his passengers. He talked about the modus of these students. They will go to school, then after class they would change and wear their makeup, and call their parents to excuse themselves for not coming home early. They were his passengers. He said that often, they are at the bowling alley or coffee shop waiting for men to pick them up. When the man picks them up, they would take a cab again and go to Hotel Ellery or Orchid Mansions. On the taxi, they can control themselves doing some kind of romance, as they said, and don't mind with the cab fare. He further added that he has gained more because of these people. He warned the teacher that if her granddaughter excuses for something, she must earnestly ask where, why, and whom will she be with. He cited his daughter Lei Chu as an example. He boasted that Lei Chu was very good in class and a very kind girl at house. She doesn't do anything but study and sometimes being called by teachers at school to study further. One time, Lei Chu took an excuse for they have an appointment in school. On that day, the taxi driver was driving, then he passed by a girl who looked like Lei Chu, who was wearing unpleasant dress and heavy makeup together with other girls. He said to himself that it's impossible that this is Lei Chu. When they entered the coffee shop, he was able to confirm it. It was Lei Chu. The next day, he went to the same coffee shop. He assaulted Lei Chu. He slapped her, punched her. He definitely hurt her. If not for his wife, he was able to kill her, he added. Finally, they arrived to the teacher's destination. He was sorry for he can't wait for the teacher anymore because he would have his racket again at Hotel Ellery. It is indeed true that a father needs to perspire and work hard in order for him to sustain the needs of his family. These lines also proves, though, that the one who is able to pursue knowledge and skills through proper education has the advantage in the real world, given that these knowledge and skills are partnered with perspiration and perseverance. These lines are very true. It is very disrespectful of a child to be stubborn to his parents. As their children, we must conform to the rules of a good parent, for they know what is best for us. As the Bible states, respect your parents and your life will be for good. These lines are some of the evidences that there are big changes that constantly happen from generation to generation. In the Philippines itself, ask your parents or your grandparents how they lived before and compare it to yours. I'm pretty sure that you will find many differences, significant differences that molded the society that we live at. We must think of what we do, especially us, students that are with far distance to our parents. Every single cent that we spend was the fruit of our parents' sweat. We must not do things that will disappoint them. Rather, we must do things to make them proud and make them see that their perspiration went to something.
This story proves to us that there are many consequences ahead of a developing country. We cannot deny that Singapore is a very urbanized country on its own. And as what we can see, urbanization or development itself that is happening to a country comes with the eminent impact of liberalization. On our country itself, try to look around the city. Don't you find some kind of similarities with the things that you see to what are enumerated in the story? Those are the things that you alone cannot change anyway. But one thing you can do is that if you know that it is not good, better not to conform with it. Because in our world, the only thing that is constant is change. To the youth today, we cannot deny that we are far away different from the earlier generations. People have changed a lot. The society have changed a lot. Sad to say, no matter how we see it, we are different in the bad way. That sets the challenge now upon us, to be different among the different. Think of what you do. Is it good or is it not? Make your parents proud. Show them gratitude, for they earnestly work for what we need. And moreover, they gave us the opportunity to be in this world. Make a good change at least to yourself and be a role model for a better society.